Hi everyone, how are you? So I'm in another place today because um, there was a wedding and uh, and I think the DJ was inside my bedroom. So I changed my place for 2 hours. I was running to look for a place, and 1 minute ago, before I was supposed to go live, everything fell down. Everything that I put here so it could be still fell down. The computer, everything fell down. So now I kind of put it in a way that maybe it's not going to fall down now. So, so today we talk about the knees, our pillars. So remember, we are still in the physical aspect, and still we have 3 more days inside the constellation of Virgo. Before we start, I want to make clear 3 little things. So the first thing is that I am reading everything, but I am not being reading your comments and everything, but I'm not being able to answer to all of them because is impossible. And also, I am taking questions and things that you may write to put them also as an issue to discuss in the writings and the talkings. Okay, so but they will be general. I'm not speaking to a person to specifically. So they will be general, so they are useful for everyone. Another thing is that I've seen many people saying, yes, but this I don't understand it, or yes, I agree with this, but there's also this information, or blah blah blah. So yes, of course, I appreciate the those kind of comments, but remember that we have 300 years ahead, 300 days ahead. So a lot of things to be written and things to speak about. So we are going to discuss the same issues that we discussed before in a different perspective from different constellations. So don't worry that we will try to take all the data as possible, but we have a lot of time ahead. And another thing, I've been reading that some people did a comment about why I was saying words like shit, for example, and they are not bad words. They are in the dictionary. They had a history. They had a way of explaining things. So this is why maybe I don't use so many words to explain something if with just one word you can say it. Usually the culture is the one that puts a lot of heavy to those words because it's what we believe, not what the word really means. Okay, so for example, I explained here in Egypt the other day to the people that the most bigger insult that in Atlantis you could make to someone was empty jar. Empty jar, that you may say garuk, meant that empty jar because the information was held in water inside jars. So if you have no water in the jar, that means that you have nothing. So that was the biggest insult for that time. And for example, the insult that we have today, as son of a bitch, for example, was not an insult in that time because the prostitution was teaching. So they were teaching how to handle the kundalini, the sex. So being a son of a whore, a prostitute, was not a problem, was not an insult, was something normal. So this is why it's all about perceptions, about our own way of understanding the world and not the words by themselves. The other thing that I wanted to say is related to the root chakra, and is that I will begin like this. Well, there's many messages in Instagram, and I don't read them. I sometimes I check some of them, but I don't usually see them. Okay. I have a friend that is reading every one of the messages that you send, and I want to tell this because, on one side, if someone answers, it's not me. I want to be sincere. If someone answers, is my friend that is using my account to answer. And also, in the other hand, is because we have been receiving, she told me, we have been receiving messages that were more in the need of the root chakra than other thing. And and there's no problem with that. The only thing is that two things. Please don't project on me. Please don't project things on me that I am not answering, not even energetically. And also, because I don't read those messages, and most of them are very, very private. So just wanted to let you know, in case you write something that you want me to read specifically, it's not me. Okay, so just be careful. So the reason why I wanted to say this is because it's about the projection, because we have been receiving a lot of mails and messages from people saying that that we have like a kind of relationship in another dimension, and that I don't answer them, and so they get mad and they get confused, and then they start to say that I am kind of controlling them by the dreams, and that I bring them to the sexual aspect low. So this is not like that. Anything that you have in your mind that you project into the outside is because you created within. Don't project in me. So I wanted to tell this publicly because there is a lot of people that have said that I am controlling people through mind when they sleep. And no, when you sleep, I also sleep. Sorry, one other thing. So the other thing that I wanted to say is that we are 3 days ahead to leave Virgo behind. So no more analyzing each one of our traumas and things from the past. But we are going to work with Libra. So it's the beauty expressed in the outside. So I want to tell you this before 3 days before, just in case you want to prepare yourself to start day by day doing the process with all of us in the creation aspect, the creativity aspect. So in this month, we are not going to make list. We are going to express in drawings what we feel from the aspects we are going to work with. So it doesn't matter if you don't know how to make a drawing. We are not going to make a piece of art. We are just expressing what we have within in art. So if you can have for the first day in 3 days paper, pencils, colors, whatever you feel more comfortable with to start to express. Okay, so that's it. So now we go to knees. I will try to do my best to be very concrete, but you all know that I am Argentinian. Today with knees, we are going to work with the pillars of our reality, which are what we call consciousness, okay, to conscious, and the other one is awareness. It's easier if we call them knowledge and wisdom, Okay, so have those pillars: knowledge and wisdom. Through all the process of life in the digestive system and everything that we have lived that we may call traumas, all of that are feeding the two concepts that through the years we will call the consciousness, or to have knowledge of everything that happened, which is in the process of unconscious, and the other way, to be wise, to become wise, which is the concept of being conscious. So remember, the first steps are getting inside. We begin the path of life, and we go through all the life in the digestive system until we reach the genitals, and through the genitals and the anus is the place where the traumas are being seen. So all the traumas, in that point, I have to wonder if they are useful for me or why they had to happen to me. So from the point of traumas, where I make myself the question, why did I have to leave all this? Two paths are open. What are the two legs? One leg, one path, will be the path of knowledge through the way of unconscious, and the other way will be the path of wisdom. The went out. I just looked for another sign, but there's no light, so you won't hear me properly. The important thing is that you can hear me. So what is the path of unconscious? I have a concept of being unconscious that is not the real thing. So to be unconscious is not something bad. It's just a different way in which we perceive the world. We usually may say that if I am conscious, so everyone has to be conscious. To be unconscious is something bad. So basically, to be unconscious means that I set my whole energy in the hands of the world around. So everything that I do will be a reaction of everything that is around me, everything that creates me. I am using the energy from around, and the energy from around is using me. We don't have to judge the unconscious. The unconscious is just another way in which the consciousness interacts with the environment. Okay? So basically, the unconscious is the aspect of the consciousness that most of its time into generate energy in the world, and to generate energy constantly in the world we live in. And what does the conscious energy do? To guide all the energy that is the other one created towards a purpose. So basically, it's like a machine that is constantly creating energy, and the conscious is the one that will say for what is that energy useful. The unconscious path, what it does is to go and to concepts, traumas, things that happened, ideas, emotions, everything, energies, and it starts to organize that in different issues, okay? And once it is all organized in different issues, it has the whole thing, but it doesn't know exactly what is that for. So this is the definition of knowledge. Knowledge is the ability to catch information, data, but even if you don't know specifically what is that for. So basically, the conscious path is the one that doesn't need information. It doesn't need many concepts and data, but it has the ability to tell the unconscious what is that information for. So this is why to the unconscious we may call them the knowers, and the conscious we may call them the wise ones. The wise one doesn't need to know information. The wise one only knows. The wise one, what it does is to go to the void so it could be open to every possibility and not to be stuck in just the information that you have. So basically, the wise one is unconditional, and the knower, the one that has the knowledge, is conditioned. So the question would be, in which path I find myself? Because I am in the path of life, going through the digestive system, and suddenly in the genitals, I find myself with all this process of learning to understand myself, what I am. And so when I do questions, suddenly I have two paths to take. So remember that by nature, we usually take the unconscious way. It's something natural. We're not guilty for that. There's no bad thing for that. So the reason we usually go through the unconscious way is because we all were pushed to that path by the external. For sure, we all have been said, don't look backwards, don't worry about the past, just keep going ahead towards the future. Doesn't matter what happened, just look forward and study a lot, get a lot of information as all as you can, because you have to learn many things. For sure, we all have gone through that path. This is the natural thing, is what we culturally, by society, we do. So in the other hand, for example, if we decide to go by the conscious path, will be very different. What will happen is that someone will ask us, what do you want to become? Look backwards, look into all your history, and find the meaning of everything that you have lived. Try to understand everything that you have done, have gone through, and when you give a meaning to that, decide and tell me what you want to become. So that's the path of wisdom. So basically, the path of unconscious is the one that tells you, is this way. And the path of conscious is the one that you, which way do you choose? We all have to go to use the two paths, because the only way you can go forward is with two legs. We cannot jump and go ahead by jumping, okay, in just one leg, because we want to be wise. What we have to do is to use both, because in order to be wise, we have to also be able to hear, to listen, to learn from others, to open ourselves to receive information from the other people. so you could understand what you are saying. So this is how the two paths are useful. I cannot jump in just one leg. And I find this necessary to be said because sometimes it feels like if we are running, like we are in a marathon to achieve conscious, to be conscious, running away from unconscious. So we are not going to the conscious, living the unconscious. We are using both legs in order to move forward. So this is why we have to leave away this absurd battle between the conscious world and unconscious world. The unconscious world accumulate data, and the conscious world helps to understand the meaning of that data. So in order to find balance in our life, we need both pillars. So these two pillars are created by each one of the circumstances that we have lived in our lives. For example, if we take the path of the unconscious, talking about a trauma, the unconscious way of knowledge will say, I had a trauma, and this trauma cannot be healed because it's in the past, so it's stuck in the system of the past, so I can't do anything. But then this starts to repeat, but the unconscious cannot see the connection. It only sees the traumas, different things, all separated. So what does the unconscious with knowledge? It starts to look for data in the outside, for information, to try to solve each one of these traumas by separate. In the conscious way, with wisdom, I go to this trauma and I recognize that each one of the traumas after that are connected and they all has a meaning as one. So when I understand the purpose of all of them as one, now I have the ability to know how to solve the next one. So this is why each trauma, each crisis, each change that we have lived in our lives can be seen through the aspect of the unconscious with knowledge and the conscious with wisdom. So for example, when I have a conflict within, the normal thing that we all do is to start the path of the unconscious, going to all kind of workshops, all kind of conferences, to read many books, everything to try to understand how to solve this problem that I have within. So follow me. So how can I recognize if I am still in the path of the unconsciousness? When even if I have done everything, all the accumulation of the data, and I have all the information for me, I still ask the other one the question, why? So picture this, that this path was not bad. The path of going to look for information was not bad. This path was good because you learn a lot of things. The only problem is when we only use one leg to go ahead. There will be one day that nobody else in the outside will have an answer for me. So in that moment will be the time when I recognize that everything that I collected in my life, I have to look for it, to give a meaning to it, and to find myself the meaning and the answer. And that's the beginning of the path of wisdom, to be conscious. Once I become wise and conscious, suddenly I recognize that I need more information for a new thing. So I become unconscious, looking for new answers, for new things, until I put all that thing together to become conscious and wise in that new aspect, and so on, a new one, a new one. The path of unconscious and conscious are two paths of learning, of education and evolution. We cannot eliminate one of the helix of the DNA. We need in order to create life. So we are not here to eliminate the unconscious. We are here to know how to use it properly. So the task for today would be to look backwards to all the changes that I have lived in my life. Okay, all these changes that pushed us, and it was hard for us in that moment, like painful in that time, but that now we can see backwards and we can say, oh, that thing that happened was the best thing for me, for what I am now. So we have to understand that change is an external force that pushes towards change by force, when transformation is something from within that I decide myself, okay, to express. So remember the task to think about all those moments of big changes that makes you change by force and you suffer this change, but now give a complete meaning of where are you standing right now to be who you are. So let's go to the information for today. The sound for today, the vibration we are going to use is Su. The statement for today is I am agreed of path. The information for today is the soul pattern Ra. It says, the strong Ra sound recalls the roar of battle. It is the vibration of defense. Every family, nation, country, empire, or religion builds around itself a protection shield, differentiating from others and creating distinction. Positions and wars, conflicts, and intellectual fights or battles determine the strength of an entity differentiating itself from others. So go to the alignment for today. I focus in my breathing. I become aware of the oxygen coming inside through my nose towards my lungs, heart, blood, organs and muscles. Take a deep breath, letting yourself fall in within your body, looking for a cell and get close to that until you see it very big in front of you, a mother cell. Take a deep breath and dive within the cell until you feel that you are floating within the cytoplasm, and with your hands in the nucleus, take the chromosomes and begin to disarm them until you feel the chains of DNA curling between your fingers. These are the codes that makes you be who you are. I recognize that I am in an ovulus, an egg with the body of my mother. Observe above you how the I am is coming in the shape of a spiral within the body of an spermatozoid. I feel how the spermatozoid touches the limit of the cell, changing polarity, making the cell shine like the sun. Take a deep breath and allow the spermatozoid of the I am come within your body. Take a deep breath and feel the spiral coming through the crown, heading towards the third eye, the throat, heart, and plexus. And from there, it spreads all its genetical material through the sacrum, root, knees, and feet. I perceive how my cell starts to divide in meiosis. The one where I find myself, the I, and the other one in front of me, the I am. I set my intention for the consciousness of the I am to expand the cells. I'm the 2 into 4, then in 8, 16, and so on, expanding and creating my body. I perceive, I feel how the cells are creating my heart, intestines, brain, and each one of the organs, muscles, and bones. I feel myself feet, legs, hands and arms, my head, my whole floating in the womb of my mother. I become aware that all the pressure that I am feeling is the pressure shaping my change. I am about to change entirely. So it's only about me, only me, who is able to decide if I will be born in this change by conscious or unconscious. I become aware that each path and circumstances that I have lived that shape me are now going to project ahead in the new path of my life, where I will be the one deciding each one of the steps. All the path head towards me. Expanding through the sound. Start to push to go outside, to begin your new path. I keep pronouncing the sound. I keep pronouncing the sound as I feel how my crown is outside, pushing, letting the eyes outside the mother, mouth, and the entire head. As I keep resounding, I feel the neck, arms, shoulders, back, chest coming out, my hands, belly, waist, genitals and hip, and now also my legs, my knees, I feel only my feet and my mother, as the rest of my body is now enlightened by the outer world. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and become aware that every path that you have lived and went through are now connected to all the path that you are going to go through, that you will take this new life, I recognize I am a grid of paths. I am a grid of paths. I am a grid of paths. So now I decide by myself to begin this new path with consciousness, in the wisdom of all this knowledge that I acquired in my path. And take a deep breath. And I take my hands to my heart. I become aware that these are the two pillars of my reality here. The knowledge and wisdom, the conscious and the unconscious. These two are the goal of all the path that I have walked, and these two are the two pillars from where I will create my new path. For I am a grid of paths. I am a grid of paths. I am a grid of paths. Take a deep breath. And I start to bring all this consciousness through my body by caressing, stretching, and yawning. Come back here and now. Good. Because I've been speaking too much, just to remind you that the important thing is the alignment. So the explanation is something useful if you want to hear it, maybe in some other moment, if you don't have so much time, but I guess it's important for you to have it. So thank you all for being there always, and as always, drink a lot of water and rest a lot. See you tomorrow.